Welcome back to episode 3 of our mini series of Pride, and in the last episode we mostly discussed the early days of the reminder picket marches to Stonewall and the lead up to the spread of Pride events popping up all over the world. We also cleared up a few common misconceptions in episode 2, so click here in case you missed it. And today we'll be covering when Pride was first recognised by a federal government, the double standards that still remain in the legal system even after anti-discrimination acts were put into place, and we will then jump to the introduction of corporations and politicians getting involved in Pride events. You know, they want that pink dollar, don't you? So let's begin with the official acknowledgement of Pride. Though Pride was officially born in June 1970 with the first Christopher Street Liberation Day, it would take some time for governments to officially recognise Pride and Pride Month as legitimate. From 1970 until 1994, no single nation in the world officially recognised Pride events as legitimate, while many developed Western nations no longer took to shutting those events down or arresting people for homosexual activities. Pride remained as an unofficial festival that included major elements of protest. And then in 1994, under an executive order from the Bill Clinton White House, the USA became the first nation to recognize Pride and Pride History Month. And events as legit festivals followed in 1999 Proclamation 7203 that declared the Gay and Lesbian Pride History Month in the USA under federal law. From here, other nations began to follow suit, including New Zealand, the UK, Australia, Canada, Germany, Hungary, and even Cuba. A little note to you, my dear viewer, that these are nations that celebrate an lgbtqia+ History Month at some point in the year. Some nations have never had laws against homosexuality, like Taiwan. Others decriminalised homosexuality or even started on the path to full equality, only to do a 180. Russia. And others have become tolerant or even made it illegal to discriminate against someone for their sexuality. And a fun fact, while the USA was the first nation to recognise a Pride History Month in 1994, New Zealand was the actual first nation in the world to recognise a day of awareness with Lesbian Day, starting in 1980, which Australia would adopt in 1990. And second fun fact, in October 88, the 11th became the first ever National Coming Out Day, and in the USA this was organised by lgbtqia+ activist groups. This national day caught on in most developed nations by 1990 and is still celebrated today in the majority of the world. And thanks to the proclamation, this meant that for the first time ever in the USA, Pride events could be viewed as a time for the community to celebrate its diversity and visibility, and not just an uphill battle of protests for equal rights. There still are uphill battles, and were for the next 25 years, and easily more in the future. However, the lgbtqia+ can proudly celebrate who they were like anyone else, without fear of legal discrimination from civic and federal authorities. Let's move on to the double standards. In 1999, it comes around and federal governments the globe over are starting to recognise the need for gay rights and other equity laws. However, it would seem that it would be some time before other authorities got the message, and systematic police discrimination continued well into, well, today. And, well, now, I guess even, depending on where you live. In nations like Canada, for example, there were the infamous bathhouse raids, and while most think of these raids under Operation Soap, what a comical name, they were isolated to the early 80s. However, these raids actually continued until the year 2000, and using archaic mortality laws, police would manage to get precinct approval and to conduct these raids on bathhouses and arrest the clientele. Hate crime laws started to take effect as early as 1990. Regardless, police, political representatives, and others in places of authority would overlook or selectively enforce these laws. It took several decades, even after Equality Acts started to go into effect, before governments started holding themselves and institutions accountable with proper checks and balances, with so much work still to be done in this area today. Which brings us on to corporations and political parties getting involved. So, with the acceptance and awareness that the LGBTQIA plus communities were here to stay and had to be treated like regular human beings, what could be next, you may ask? Well, humanity stepping hand in hand into a brave new world together, with newfound respect and understanding for one another, you may ask? Of course not. What came next was every company or person with a product, service, or philosophy to sell. And with that, they noticed a huge new demographic opening up, and they could market to. Oh yeah, they definitely could. And anyone that has seen the episode South Park is Gay will know what I'm talking about. Between 1999 and 2010, commercial and political gay-themed products and media became all the rage. Most of this was harmless. I mean, what member of the LGBTQIA plus community doesn't like hearing the politician they are planning to vote for is aware of you and has your best interests in mind? Or hear the company is working with such charities? But some of it became alienating, and not just for homophobes, but also for members of the community. Stay tuned for the 4th episode, where we will look at Pride today. Hello, my lovely unicorns, and thank you for dropping by today. I've been your lovely friend Jay, and if you want to see more of me in the future, and if you have not already, then feel free to smash that subscribe button. If you like the episode, feel free to like it, and feel free to comment so I get to know your mind. And also, if you do get time, feel free to share it to your communities, such as your Discord communities, your WhatsApp communities, whoever you deem is worthy. But until next time, guys, keep all that love in your heart and spread it out to all those, because God knows this world definitely needs it. Until then, I've been your friend Jay, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care.